Hello everyone, it's Robin from Upstyle here to demonstrate how to make the Solana bag. The PDF pattern was released in the fall of 2021 and is available in my Etsy shop for immediate download. The pattern includes two sizes. I'll be making the small size during this tutorial. To me, it's the perfect size for an everyday bag. It has a detachable adjustable strap, a handy front zipper pocket, lots of inside pockets, and a recessed top zipper closure. The medium size is just a bit bigger with all the same functional elements. I designed the pattern to be used with a variety of fabrics, including quilting cotton, medium weight canvas, and cotton blends. But with a few modifications, you can use fabrics like cork, waxed canvas, and faux leather. More information is included with the pattern. For this tutorial, I've selected a medium weight cotton linen blend canvas for the exterior of the bag and waterproof canvas for the lining. You'll need fabric for the exterior of the bag, fabric for the lining, woven fusible interfacing, and stabilizer. You'll also need number 5 nylon zipper tape with 3 zipper pulls and 3/4 inch polyester or nylon webbing with 2 D-rings, 2 swivel snap rings, and 1 slider. And finally, you'll need a sewing machine and basic sewing tools and supplies. Print out the pattern pieces at 100% or actual size. Double check that the 1-inch square is accurate, then cut all pieces out along the solid lines. Follow the instructions and cutting layout diagrams to cut out the exterior and lining fabric pieces. Attach the labels included with the pattern to each piece. Also cut out the interfacing and stabilizer pieces. Fuse the interfacing to the wrong side of exterior fabric A. The stabilizer will be attached later. Next, center and fuse all remaining stabilizer pieces to the wrong side of each corresponding exterior fabric piece. Ensure there is 3/8 inch space all around, especially at the top edges. Then fuse the interfacing layers to each piece. Follow the instructions so that your exterior fabric pieces are interfaced, with or without stabilizer. Keep in mind that depending on the fabric selected, some pieces won't need to be interfaced. More detailed information is provided with the pattern. Add interfacing to the lining pieces as needed. I'm using waterproof canvas here, which doesn't need to be interfaced. To determine the midpoint of the top and bottom edges of most of the exterior pieces, fold them in half horizontally and cut small snips or notches at the fold. Do the same for the lining pieces. Note that this step isn't necessary for pieces F, G, and H. Use a fabric marker to transfer the dots from pattern C to the wrong side of exterior fabric C. Use pattern E to transfer the markings to the wrong side of exterior fabric E. Use sharp scissors to make straight snips 1/4 inch long as indicated. Do not cut deeper than 1/4 inch. These cuts will help ease the fabric into a smooth curved seam in step 5. Repeat this step for lining piece M using pattern M as a guide. There are a variety of ways to add zipper pulls to continuous nylon zipper tape. Here's the method that works best for me. Cut one side of the zipper tape end off about 1/4 inch shorter than the other side. Use a candle flame, a lighter, or something like fray check to seal the raw edge of the tape. Open the zipper tape about 2 to 3 inches, and with the rounded end facing down, insert the longer side of the tape into the channel until it is flush with the flat end of the pull. Then insert the opposite side of the tape about halfway. I usually hear a subtle click sound. Then I pull the longer side up while nudging the pull down until both ends slide up and away from the pull. To add more pulls, just repeat the process. You can see on the second pull, it goes on a little unevenly. I just pull it off and try again. Once you have added all the pulls you need, I need 3 for the Solana bag, trim the long end of the tape to match the other side and seal the raw edge like before. Cut 2 zippers 8.5 inches long for the zipper pockets and 1 zipper 12 inches long for the top closure. Seal both ends of all 3 zippers. Position each end of one 8.5 inch zipper between 2 exterior fabric zipper tabs F, right sides together, and clip in place. The zipper is sandwiched between the tabs. Sew together using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Fold the tabs away from the zipper and finger press in place. Top stitch tabs 1/8 inch from the seam. Then repeat for the other end of the zipper. Measure and mark the midpoint on the wrong side of the zipper tape. Lay the zipper right side down so that the pull is positioned on the left when closed. With right sides together, clip the zipper tape to the top edge of front panel bottom B, aligning the midpoints, and baste in place. Place one pocket piece O right side down onto the wrong side of the zipper tape and clip together at the basting stitches. Using a zipper foot or narrow foot, sew together along the top. Press the fabric layers away from the zipper and top stitch on front bottom B below the zipper through all of the layers. Turn the piece over with the zipper facing down. Then fold the lower edge of the pocket, right sides together, so that it aligns with the top edge of the zipper tape, and baste in place. With right sides together, clip the lower edge of front top A to the top edge of the zipper tape and sew along the top. Take care to slide the zipper pull out of the way as you sew. Press the fabric away from the zipper and top stitch 1/8 of an inch from the seam above the zipper. Trim the zipper tabs to the width of the panel. The height of the finished front panel should measure 6 7/8 inches. Depending on the width of the zipper tape and slight variances in seam allowances, you may need to trim it. Use a ruler or exterior fabric piece C as a template. Trim the front panel along the top edge. Recut a notch at the midpoint. Position the stabilizer for piece A onto the back of the front panel so that the top edge of the stabilizer is 3/8 inch below the top edge. Fuse in place. Trim the pockets along the curve at the bottom and baste layers together at the sides. With right sides together, clip the unnotched edges of exterior pieces D to both ends of piece E. Sew together using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Press the seams open and top stitch 1/8 of an inch on both sides of the seam. To make the strap connectors, fold each long edge wrong sides together to the center and press. Slip the D-ring onto the folded piece and clip together. Sew the raw ends together using a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Center and clip one connector with D-ring onto one short end of the gusset panel so that the 5/8 inch sewing line aligns with the raw edge of the gusset panel. Sew in place using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Repeat for the other side. With the right sides together, clip the gusset panel to the front panel along the bottom and sides. The snipped areas at the curves will spread out, forming a curve to match the bottom edges of the front panel. Use sewing clips generously to ensure the layers stay in place while sewing. Sew the front panel to the gusset using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Work slowly as you sew around the curves. Push the gusset down out of the way as needed. Sew the seam again, this time using the standard 3/8 inch seam allowance. Repeat these steps to attach the back panel to the gusset. Trim the seam allowance close to the 1/4 inch sewing line. With wrong sides together, fold one lining pocket O in half vertically so that it measures 9 1/4 inches wide by 4 1/2 inches. Baste the raw edges together. Clip the folded edge at the top and top stitch using 1/8 inch seam allowance. Place the pocket with the fold at the top onto the right side of the lining front panel L. The bottom edge of the pocket should align with the bottom of the panel. To make 2 equally divided pockets, mark a vertical line on the pocket 4 5/8 inch from the sides. starting at the bottom, sew close to the vertical line, pivot and backstitch a few times, then sew down parallel to the first stitching line. Trim the bottom of the pocket to match the curves on the panel, and baste the layers together along the sides and the bottom. Place one end of the second 8.5-inch zipper between two lining fabric zipper tabs F. Sew together, fold the tabs away from the zipper, and top stitch in place. Repeat for the other side. Measure and mark the midpoint of the zipper. Lay the zipper right side down so that the pull is positioned on the left when closed. With right sides together, clip the zipper tape to the top edge of lining back bottom K and baste in place. Next, position the right side of pocket O to the wrong side of the zipper tape. Sew together using a 3/8-inch seam allowance. Press the fabric layers away from the zipper. And top stitch below the zipper through all of the layers. Fold the lower edge of the pocket up so that it aligns with the top edge of the zipper tape, and baste in place. With right sides together, clip the lower edge of lining back top J to the top edge of the zipper tape, and sew together. Press the fabric away from the zipper and top stitch above the zipper 1/8 inch from the seam. Baste the layers together at the sides. Trim the pockets along the curves at the bottom, and trim the zipper tabs to the width of the panel. The height of the finished lining back panel should be 5 7/8 inches. Trim along the top as needed. Recut the midpoint notch at the top. With right sides together, clip the lining gusset M to the side and bottom edges of the back lining panel. The snipped areas at the curves will spread out, allowing the fabric to be sewn along the curve evenly. Use sewing clips generously to ensure the layers stay in place while sewing. Sew the layers together using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Sew the seam again, this time using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Repeat these steps to attach the remaining lining panel to the gusset. Trim the seam allowances close to the 1/4 inch stitching lines. Place the 12-inch zipper so that the pull is positioned on the left when closed. Temporarily sew the opposite end, for the right, closed with a few machine or hand stitches. On the left side of the zipper, draw a small mark on the tape 3/4 of an inch from the end on both sides of the teeth. Open the zipper a few inches. On one side of the zipper, pinch the marked line so that the teeth curve outward at a 90-degree angle and pin in place. Repeat for the other side. Hand or machine sew the fold in place close to the outer edge of the tape. Trim the end to align with the outside edge of the zipper tape. And seal the raw edge. Repeat for the other side. Fold each short end of the top zipper casing's eye under 1/4 inch, wrong sides together, and press. An easy way to do this is to draw a line on the fabric twice as wide as the fold. Then line up the raw edge to the line and clip in place. With right sides together, clip one side of the zipper tape to one exterior fabric casing. Baste the layers together. Next, place one lining fabric casing right side down onto the wrong side of the zipper tape, aligning the folded edges at the ends, and clip in place. Sew together using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Press fabric layers away from the zipper and clip the raw edges together. Top stitch around all four sides, 1/8 of an inch from the edges. Repeat these steps to complete the other side of the zipper. To make a fabric zipper end, fold the outside edges of piece G under 3/8 of an inch on all four sides and press. Place the unfinished zipper end onto the tab halfway. Fold the tab over the zipper end and clip in place. Top stitch all four sides. With the lining turned inside out, position it so that the lining front panel with the slip pocket is closest to you. With the top zipper casings facing up and the zipper pull closed on the left, clip the casings to the front and back lining panels. The zipper casing should be centered between the gusset seams. Baste in place. With right sides together, sew the exterior fabric facings N together along the short ends. Press seams open. Open the zipper all the way and tuck the end inside the bag. With right sides together, clip the facing to the top edge of the lining so that the facing side seams align with the midpoints of the lining gussets. Work around the top edge of the bag, aligning the rest of the midpoints. Make sure the seam allowances at the gusset seams point toward the gusset. Sew the facing to the lining along the top edge using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Finger press the facing and zipper up toward the top. Press the seam allowance down toward the bottom of the lining. Pull the zipper tab end out of the way and top stitch 1/8 of an inch below the seam. Turn the lining right side out and press if needed. With right sides together, slip the lining into the exterior fabric bag so that the front panels face each other. Clip in place along the top edge. Make sure the zipper and D-rings are pushed down out of the way. Align the midpoints of the facing with the front and back exterior panels. Sew around the top edge, leaving the area between the dots on the back panel open. Gusset seam allowances should be folded toward the gusset. Work slowly as you sew through the multiple layers at the strap connectors and gusset seams. Take care not to sew over the D-rings. Turn the bag right side out through the opening at the top. Ensure that the exterior is fully turned at the gusset seams and bottom curves. Push the lining inside the bag and smooth into place. With your fingers, roll the top seam back and forth, ensuring that the top seam is fully turned. Fold the raw top edge of the exterior back panel under 3/8 of an inch. The firm edge of the stabilizer will act as a guide. Similarly, fold the raw top edge of the facing under 3/8 of an inch. Clip both folded edges together. Add a few extra clips along the top edge of the bag. Top stitch around the top edge of the bag using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure the zipper teeth and D-rings are out of the way as you sew. If necessary, press out any wrinkles with an iron, then set your bag aside for now. Use a lighter or candle flame to seal the ends of the webbing. Hold the webbing near, not on, the flame until the edges melt together. Work in a well-ventilated area and be careful not to burn the webbing. Slip one end of the webbing over the center bar of the slider. Fold the webbing over the bar so that it extends about 1 inch from the edge of the slider. And clip in place. Follow the diagrams provided with the pattern to create a reinforced X-box stitch. Work with the hardware toward the right, webbing on the left. Push the hardware away from the webbing strap as far as possible. Position your needle about 1/4 of an inch from the left edge of the slider. Then sew the X-box stitch. To avoid the hardware getting in the way, pivot in either clockwise or counterclockwise directions as needed. Slide the other end of the webbing through one of the swivel snap hooks and loop back through the slider. Finally, slip the unfinished end through the second swivel snap hook and fold over about 1 inch. Secure with another X box stitch. The last step is to attach the strap to the D-rings on the bag. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. I've provided lots of details in the description below. Feel free to contact me via Etsy with any questions or concerns about this project. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.